Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and I thought I would do a tag video for you guys. I'm doing the Moody Reader Tag. I saw Olive from a Book Olive do this tag the other day. Although she's not the creator, I will find the creator and post a link in the description box below. So you all know how this goes. So here is the Moody Reader Tag. Question number 1. Do you consider yourself a mood reader? And yes, I do. I used to, though, say that, I'm always in the mood for fantasy, but even then, I consider myself a moody reader. Now, unfortunately, that has kind of caused problems for me because I have a lot of books that I know will take me longer to read that I will start because all of a sudden I'm in the mood for it, but then I will put it down later. Like, Count of Monte Cristo, for instance, I'm very close to being done with that book. But not like close as in only a couple chapters left. Close as in, it's still a good chunk to go, but I have accomplished a lot throughout the years. And I say years with years plural because I've been reading that book for a long time. And sometimes I'm not in the mood for it. And then, there are times when we go to visit my sister or my grandma where I will bring like 5 books with me because I'm like, ooh, I want to read this one. Oh, I gotta read this one. And then I only read a little bit of each book. Now, this last visit to my grandma's, I did get one finished, but that's because I made the active decision to bring one that I was very close to finishing. And that was the first book I finished this month, actually. But normally I will have like 5, 6 books with me. And then I get a little self-conscious when people, like my family members, will say something about it and kind of tease me, and they mean it. They are either mean it as they're genuinely curious and don't get how I can read so many books and they want to know, or they're kind of teasing me about it, and it's like I get self-conscious of like, okay, I don't want it to be a big deal. This is just what I do. I don't want anyone to make it this, make this a big thing. I just want to read in peace and not have to worry about feeling like, people are judging me for being moody with my reading. Okay, so question number 2. Do you set a TBR list and do you stick to them? Yes and no. Back when I first started BookTube, I got really excited and started making TBR lists all the time because, first of all, I love making lists. And I'm a nerd like that. But then I would sort of follow through with it. I would sort of read the books, but then all of a sudden I would get off track. Or my biggest problem was that I would have so many books on there that I would feel like I need to include on that list. And it would take me forever to get to those books. And so I was sort of good with the follow through, but sort of not at the same time. I would just have so many books on there that I wouldn't get to all of them. Like, I would set a number for myself, I'll read 21 books this year, and then I end up adding more to it. And so for a while, I decided to stop. But then I recently decided to do it again this year, when I decided to make these changes to my channel at the beginning of this month. But then I've been doing okay with that. I'm still not very good with the follow through. But I'm trying. I just really need to force myself to pick only 4 or 5 books and then stick with those and then add other books if I get through all those 4 or 5 books. But it's just really hard because I keep thinking about all the books I've started. Because as I said to the previous question, I have so many books that I've started. I have bookmarked and I haven't picked it up. And I'm feeling guilty all of a sudden, especially if I hear another booktuber talking about that book, like for instance, The Way of Kings, The Way of Kings, which I know is going to take me like 1,000,000 years to read. Okay, question number. This is when it gets hard. Not the questions, but showing the number with my fingers. Question number 3. Do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of the book rub off on you? Sort of, but not like emotionally as in I'm crying or anything. Emotionally as in I'll get angry and exasperated with the characters in the book, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really rub off on me. I mean, I might bring it up, I might discuss it with my dad or someone, especially like I do the same thing with TV shows and movies where I find a way to squeeze into the dinner conversation. But in the long run, no, it doesn't really. They can affect me emotionally, but not in the way most people would be affected by books, which is crying their eyes out because it's so heartbreaking. Question number 4: when you're feeling sad, what do you read or do not read when sad? And I will read when sad, but I don't have any specific book that I will read when I'm sad. I will read whatever I'm reading. Now, but at the same time, there are times when I'm just so upset about something that I can't focus on the book. And I need something that requires a little less concentration, like watching a YouTube video or something. Because I'm just watching a person talking, or like a video, a music type video or something, or like a performance. So it requires a little less concentration on my part, and then sometimes I can let myself get distracted by other things and rant whatever is upsetting me or making me sad. So sometimes I can, but sometimes I can't. And it's again no specific book when I do read when I'm sad. Question number 5: most often do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? And I say escape, but I do the other ones. Especially now more than ever, I think, and I think that's partly because of YouTube. Like a lot of YouTubers are making me more aware of things, and more challenging books, and also books that talk about important issues in our society that we need to think about and reflect on. And then also there have been booktubers like A Book Olive who have gotten me more aware of, more interested in nonfiction. So I do also like to learn. I'm getting more into learning things. Just as long as I don't have to do it like how they used to do it in school, I'm good. Like those textbooks, I hated reading those textbooks in school. I think most people did. In fact, I think that's why most people later in life, when they're done with school, they don't want to pick up a book for the rest of their life because school has a habit of ruining the appeal of books for people. But mostly for escape. Mostly I read for escape. I just want to get away, go to another world, live in a little dream world where magic is real, the kind of magic that's in fantasy, or like where people can do extraordinary things or learn, or where I can escape to another time period. And I actually have to deal with a lot of the issues that women had to deal with in that time period. Or, experience this epic romance that realistically would never happen, or shouldn't happen, or just for, And it's just, sometimes it's fun to go to, and oftentimes it's fun to go to escape into a book, because if your own life is either it sucks, it is really horrible, or your life is kind of boring, a book. Escaping into a book is just really fun. Even if it's a book where it's like, it's really horrible, the situation. Like, sometimes it's fun. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of a book where it's just the situation. Like The Hunger Games. In real life, you would not want to be part of the Hunger Games. But sometimes it's just fun to escape into that world. Okay, enough of that question. Question number 6. What is the book that made you laugh out loud? And in all honesty, I've never laughed out loud with the book. I'm weird. I'm a robot. Books don't, like, I will smirk or like, haha, or chuckle to myself or like roll my eyes or whatever, but I'm never like, ha 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 ha, that's so funny. I've never like done that. I will do that with a TV show or movie. TV shows and movies sometimes have more power over me than books. Because as passionate as I am about reading, sometimes the visual of a movie or a show, like the visuals and the actors and all that stuff gets, and actually, I think, yeah, actually this kind of refers to question number 7. So let me go ahead and go to that question. What is a book that made you cry? Or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? And I don't cry with books. But I did pick an answer for if I don't cry. The book I chose that moved me was Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. And I read this, I don't know if I read this earlier this year or at the end of last year. I can't remember. I think I read this earlier this year around winter time. This is such a beautiful story about, how this mysterious child and man who's unconscious, this child that appears dead and a man that falls unconscious, but appears to be alive, they show up at this tavern in the small English town, and when the little girl all of a sudden wakes up, it's a miracle because they thought she was dead. And on top of it, everyone becomes attached to this girl. They fall in love with this girl and see her as and it's not like a teenage girl. It's a little girl, a child. And they all, like, are immediately taken with her, and they all want to claim her as their own because, like, there are 3 main families who have all lost a child, and they believe this child is theirs. And it's such a heartbreaking story, but also, also very beautiful. And it's all about dealing with grief, coping with grief and the loss of a child, because you can't even imagine what it's like to lose a child. I can't even begin to fathom that. And it's very touching. It's about the bonds of family and just forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and it's a very sweet story, very beautiful. And of course the writing, I love Diane Setterfield's writing. It's just a sweet story, a very touching story, and like I said, it moved me. But like I said, it moved me, but it didn't drive me to tears. It's just, like I said, movies and TV shows are better at doing that than a book. Because, again, as I said before, the visual of the movie or the show and the actors, along with the sound effects, get me more emotional. Like, my own, like, I can imagine the scene in my head, but because it's not tangible to me, because it's just my own imagination, it doesn't affect me. It won't make me cry, but I might get angry. And like I said, I might get angry and make exasperating noise. Like, man, don't do this, don't do that, don't go in that room. Why are you doing this? Why are you listening to them? Or why don't you listen to them? That's my emotional reaction. Okay, question number 8. What is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about it? I had no answer for this one, because I never really thought about that question. There's never been a book where as far as I can recall, there's never been a book where I didn't know how I felt. Or if there is, I can't remember at the moment. Maybe there is, who knows, but I don't at the moment to do this question. Okay, are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? And I will read anytime, any type of weather. I do like sunny days to allow me to sit outside, especially if it's comfortable. But I don't care. As long as I have a place to sit, I'm happy. A comfortable place to sit, then I want, it doesn't matter. The weather does not, matter to me. I'm not one of those people who likes to, is like, oh, I love to read when it's raining. I mean, I think I can understand that is a great atmosphere for reading. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm saying I don't care. If it's raining, I'll read. If it's not raining and it's sunny, I'll read. If it's cloudy, I'll read. But now, like I said, if it's sunny and warm, then I will sit outside and read. But the weather does not impact if I'm gonna read or not. Question number 10. Do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, light, smells, etc. And no, I don't. I just want, again, I just want a comfortable chair, you know? And I live with my parents, so they will not let me, I don't think they'll let me set a candle. And I also barely can blow out a candle. Like, I am still not good at that, at blowing out the candle, which I know some people find that silly because it's just blowing on it, but I either get a giggle fit or I just can't blow when I end up just spitting on it. And that doesn't, I don't think that's enough to, but, I don't think my mom would really trust me with lighting a candle. Um, and then I can't read with background noise. I mean, sometimes I can, but I can't, I mean, and sometimes I try if I'm like feeling like guilty, feel like I need to pick up the book again and read it, even though I already turned on the TV. I will sometimes read a little bit, or like if I'm, I will have BookTube. Like the book that I was recently reading The Diviners as an ebook on my phone, and I was able to read that but for some reason I was able to read that even with the YouTube video. I think it's because it was I don't know, it was on my phone, so I'm used to staring at my phone sometimes when I'm like every other millennial. I will stare at my phone. But I really can't have any background. Like it really gets on my nerves when we go to my grandma's or my sister's for a week or a weekend, and my mom loves listening to Dr. Laura. It keeps her awake. She's a, talk show radio psychologist, and I cannot stand that. It's hard because I can't stand that whenever I try to read and my parents put her on. In fact, they find my reactions to it very amusing. I mean, sometimes depending on now, if my mom's not in a great mood and just annoyed, she might get mad at me, but most they're amused by my getting mad and getting annoyed and be like, why do you want to listen to this judgmental woman? But I cannot stand her. And then, so, like, I can read in the car without getting sick, but if my parents decide to listen to Dr. Laura and I'm in the car, it is so hard for me to concentrate on my book because I'm just so annoyed. And then sometimes, every so often, I do want to hear, and then, every so often I'm kind of interested, which annoys me, but I admit there are times when I am curious. It's just like how, something's on TV, and if it's something that you normally cannot stand watching, sometimes you have to stare at it, you have to watch it. Because it's just part of you is like, I'm so fascinated by it, and, but it just gets on my nerve, but it's so hard to concentrate in the book when my parents have that, so I always try to mentally prepare myself for those car trips when there's the three of us, and knowing that in the afternoon around 2 o'clock, my mom and dad will put on Dr. Laura. Now sometimes they'll be nice, and like when last time we went to my grandma's, on the way down there, they didn't put on, but of course I knew it was too good to be true, and on the way back, they of course put her on there. Although it ended. It didn't last. It was like the last half hour or the, so it ended, thankfully. But yeah, I can't set, I don't really set the mood. I just need a comfortable chair, and, my body needs to be comfortable. Like, I can't be hungry, I can't be cold. But, if I have anything, distractions like music or, then I can't do it. So, no, long story short, I don't set the mood. Okay, so last question number 11. That was 10. Question number 11 is, can you leap from book to book, or do you need a buffer time between them? And, yeah, I can leap from book to book. I'm one of those weirdos who can do that. I mean, maybe that's not weird. Maybe I'm not the only one who does that. But I don't need time in between. Like, if I need, I might need like a few minutes. Or, well, although sometimes I will watch BookTube for a little while after I finish a book. And then I'll come back to the book. Or like I want to watch a show or something. Or I'll watch a show. I have things I will do if I need to, but most of the time I'm perfectly fine. To me, I don't need a buffer. I can just leap from book to book. Especially because a lot of times I'm in the middle of several books at the same time. So I am, like, eager to go into, like, I just finished The Dividers on ebook. Although by the time you guys watch this video, it will be probably, I haven't decided when I'm going to upload this. So there will probably be a few days or a week since I finished reading that. But I just finished The Diviners, and now I'm thinking, now that I'm done with that one, I'm done reading that one, now I gotta get back into focus on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Which, by the way, I have such mixed feelings about that book. And then I'm also reading Catherine House from the library, because our library finally went back to regular hours. So I gotta read that one, and my rule is to always have at least one book finished to return to the library, so I don't have to renew all the books. Especially because there's already a book that I want to, when I go back to the library to return the books, there's already a book I want to get next to replace Catherine House with. That's the book I'm trying to finish. Which I will talk more about that on the wrap up, by the way. So I definitely can leap from book to book, because I can just, to me, that's another reason why people questioning me about my reading and being like, how can you read so many books at the same time? That's why that bothers me, because it makes me feel self-conscious, because it makes me feel guilty and feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, But I've never had a problem, and I've never, to me, it's not a problem to go from, I've never, like, to get, read 2 books at the same time, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 books at the same time, because, like, they're all different stories, even if they're in the same kind of genre. I don't know, I've just never got mixed up. It's just like, same with watching, like, 3 TV shows at the same time. Like, I'm watching Westworld because my mom got me HBO Go. My mom got us access to HBO Go temporarily. I don't know how long we're gonna have it, because we might change our cable to back to YouTube TV. So she got me HBO Go, so I can watch. So I'm watching Westworld on there, and the Batman animated series for the first time ever. Yes, I know, the first time ever. I grew up with that show. I was a kid of the 90s, and I never watched it. But I think it's really cool. But I'm watching that one, and then a while back I started Vampire Diaries, a rewatch of it, because I haven't watched that in years, and I never watched the rest of it. I stopped in the middle of season 5, I think. I stopped watching the show. At the time I kind of got bored with it. And then I'm also, is that it? I think that's all those are the only ones I'm watching right now. And then there's a movie I need to watch that my friend from West Virginia told me I should watch. So I don't get those characters mixed up. It's the same thing with the book. Although I guess you could make the argument of that with those, it's a little different, because you get the visuals in a movie or a TV show, for the same reason that I'm more prone to cry. But yeah, so I can leap from book to book easily, and I never get them mixed up. Okay, so that is the Moody Reader Tag. And feel free to consider yourself tagged. I don't like tagging people, because I never know who would be interested in this. I never know who to tag. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell notification to see when I post new videos. Continue to wear your mask, keep 6 feet apart from people, sanitize yourself, and I hope you are enjoying your reading. Alright, bye!